Hey gems, welcome back to the channel, Crystal Heart. My name is Crystal and today we're going to make something a little bit different. Alright y'all, before we get into today's project, y'all don't forget to hit the like button. Also, if you're not subscribed, you're here, you might as well hit that subscribe button and that little bell notification so you can be notified every time I post a video and every time I go live. Alright y'all, so if you've been around for the past few weeks watching my most recent videos, you know that I've been into journaling, and I was kind of going back and forth on if I would make any videos about any of this kind of stuff. But as you can see, I've decided to go ahead and make videos about it. So I'm going to show you guys, this is the journal cover that I made for my gardening journal. And then I have all my papers here. I just have not made the signatures. You guys are going to do that with me. But I have all my papers cut down to size. But I am going to show you guys how I made this, I guess you could kind of call it a quilted journal top cover out of fabric, of course, and also trash. I did this one out of a Wheat Thins box, so I'll show you guys how to do that. So you don't need anything special, you just need your box, your food box or whatever box you're using, cereal box, crackers box, snack box, whatever, and then your fabric of choice, and you guys will see what else you need. Not much, probably things that you already have. And then we'll get into doing the signatures and sewing them in the journal. We'll talk about that as well along the way. It seems like a lot and like it would be hard, but it's really not. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know if you do this kind of stuff at home or if you're going to try to make one. And let's get to it. I'm going to put you on downward view so we can get started. Alright y'all, I know there's a million ways to make a journal, but this is how we're going to do this today. So I have this box that is a chicken wing box, but you can use whatever container you want. It's easiest if you pick something that's around the size of how you want your finished product, but understandable if you find something bigger like a cereal box and you want to cut it down, you can. So the way I do this is usually on the side of the box. Oh, this box might be different. Oh no, there's one side that has a flap, and so I just break that flap open, and then the bottom, you're just opening up the box like so. Alright, so then you're left with this. So that's why I bring in the paper cutter. If you don't have a paper cutter, you can use a ruler and a rotary cutter, you know, not with your fabric blade, or you can just use scissors to cut. Okay, so what you want to cut is all of this at the top and all of this at the bottom. You're going to cut that off. So what I'm going to do is cut off the flap first. And this flap I'm going to keep. You just need to keep one of the flaps. Choose a flap, one that's the same. It has to be the same size as this to keep. The rest of what I'm cutting off you can throw away or use it to make a tag or whatever you want to do. It's up to you. Okay, and then I think I cut mine a little crooked, maybe not, but then you're left with this. So this is how big this book will be. This I am making to put my stitch journal pieces in, because y'all may have seen, oops, I forgot to cut a piece. Y'all may have seen where I talked about the stitch journal that I was doing, and that I didn't want to make a journal, so I just bought one. Well, I want to make one, and then I'll take the pages from the one that I've been using and I'll glue them onto pages in here. And the book that I'm using is pretty small, so it'll all fit into this. And this book will be 5 inches by 7 inches, so a 5 by 7 works for me. And then I'm gonna discard these pieces and keep this flat. All right, so for our next step, we are gonna take the little piece that we saved and we're gonna use that as a reinforcement on the spine. And that's because when we sew our signatures, we want it to be strong. So here you use your glue of choice. Some people they use the art glitter glue. They use the E7000, I don't know, whatever. People use different types of glue. Everybody has their preference. Honestly, I get this Aleene's tacky glue from the Dollar Tree. They sell it at other craft stores, I'm sure. And it works well. So, but the tip for this gets all gooky. So I put it into this fine tip bottle that I got on Amazon. I'll link it down below. It came in a 2-pack for like $5 or $6. Or you can get it probably cheaper. I don't know where, honestly. But I'll link it down below. Anyway, so at this point, it does not matter if your thing is like this or like this. It really does not matter. But I am going to go ahead and glue this in here. And you be generous with the glue because you want it to be held in there strong. I would say that's my only downfall with this glue, is that it's way too thick. It's the only downfall. But it works well and it's cheap. But the consistency is so thick. I wonder if I mix a little water in it, if it would still be as strong. I have to test that out. Alright. But also other things will be holding this down. There'll be another layer on top. And then of course you're going to be sewing through it. Alright. And there we go. What you will need next is a piece of batting. Use your scraps. This is where you use your scraps. And I cut my batting to be pretty much the exact size of my cover. Okay, so what you're going to do next is you're going to take your fabric, your batting, sorry, and you are going to glue it to the outside of your cover. Now, the glue you use for this, it does not matter. It doesn't have to hold on super tight. It just needs to hold it for the moment. So because of that, I am going to go ahead and just use a little glue stick because it's quick and easy. And this would be like the equivalent of basting. You just want to baste it down. So that it's held in place, because we're going to sew this. We're going to stitch this up. So it doesn't need to be holding on for dear life. Alright, so next you choose the fabric that you want to use. Now you can do whatever you want for this part, because most of you who watch my channel are quilters. You can piece together something. For this one, I wanted this fabric and it wasn't long enough, so I added this fabric at the bottom. I pieced them together and use it that way to show some interest. You could do anything, a small quilt block, and piece it. You can have a fabric with some applique. You can applique it on after the fact. You can do whatever you want. Be as creative as you want. But for the sake of this video, I am just going to do something simple. Now, I wanted to find, because this is supposed to be my stitch journal, I wanted to find some stitchy fabric, something cute, but I forgot about this scrap that I had from the tote bag video that I made for Christmas, for the 12 days of Christmas. And I completely forgot about it, and it'd be perfect. Now, it is kind of cutting it close, like really close on the edges, but I think it can work. So I am going to cut this to size. Now, this is also another place where you can decide if you want your fabric to cover all the inside. But this is my other one. I made my favorite fabric come in, but you're going to be covering the middle section with paper. So your paper can be covering all of the inside to where none of the fabric is showing. You can make your paper, you can use different papers. Like if this was just the paper that I used on the spine, I could put a separate paper on this side and a separate paper on this side. If you have like some beautiful paper that you want to be the inside, you can do that however you want. So with that thought, I don't have to have a whole lot of overhang, because I'll have paper covering that and holding it down as well. Plus, we're going to be stitching this down, so it's not going to go anywhere. Anyway, trim it down to however, whatever size you would like it, you know, to cover on the inside. And then always remember, you can cut more later, so don't make it too small to start off with. I think I'm going to use a pretty paper on the inside, but I'm cutting mine right now big enough to cover the inside, just in case I don't find anything that I like. Alright, so once again, you're gonna glue baste your fabric on to your top. So your wrong side of your fabric, you're gonna have your right side down, wrong side up. You're gonna take the side with the batting and lay it on your fabric where you want it, and kind of just get a gist. And then we're going to glue one side at a time. And this helps you to be able to make sure your spine is moving and you're not gluing it so tight that you can't even move your spine. Fabric is forgiving. If you were doing this in paper, it'd be more important to score your paper, but fabric is more forgiving. But with that said, I'm going to fold this in, put glue on this side. Remember, the glue is holding it temporarily, so we're going to be stitching this. Now, if you don't want to stitch this, or you don't have a sewing machine, or you have no interest in sewing this, you would want to use a fabric glue. A permanent fabric glue. That would hold it. I went too far with my glue. That would hold it forever. Right now I'm not worried about forever because I know I'm stitching it on the machine. Okay, so now that I got this one side basted down, I'm going to fold over and put the glue where the spine would be. Then press the spine down. And you could let this flip over while you press the spine down. It'll make sure that it's bendable. And then I'm going to put glue on this side of fabric to get the back. And then I'm going to get the back pressed down. And this way, we're all movable. Okay. Now, this is where we need to fold in our bottom and our top. And same thing, glue base that. Once again, it'll be stitched, so my glue doesn't have to be permanent unless you're not stitching, and then you need permanent glue. Alright, there we go. I'm going to flip and do the other side. I really cut it close on this corner, but it's okay. It's gonna be good. Oh, I really cut it close on this corner. Okay, so now we got our tops and our bottoms. We can bend, we can fold if you need to do this and maneuver. Do what you gotta do. Hopefully you won't be cutting it as close with your fabric. And then we're gonna bring our fabric in. You want to have your fabric folded at the top and the bottom so you don't have any raw edges. So you're just gonna tuck it in so you don't have raw edges. Like that. Now mine, like I said, I left it a little long. I can just basically fold it in like this if I want, or I can cut off the excess. I think I'm gonna cut some of it off. And then we can use this for something, a tassel, embellishments, or something. Alright, and I'm just using glue so I don't have to keep holding it down. Then I'm going to go in like this. And I'm going to glue it down. And you want to kind of pull it tight so that you don't have any bubblies. Alright. So that's one side. Now let's just get the other side done. Alright, there you go. I love this fabric. Okay. So honestly, I have to go find some paper to match this fabric. And then I'll come back and show y'all what we're going to do next. Also, ribbon for the closure. And don't pay attention to the ribbon here because the way I did it on this one was not good, was not right. I messed up and forgot to add it. It was supposed to be under the paper. So I'm gonna go find paper and see about a ribbon, and then I'll come back and I'll show y'all what we're gonna do next. Alright y'all, so I'm back. Unfortunately, the neighbors are cutting their grass now, so we have more noise. Alright, but I did go looking through ribbons and papers. So I have this little paper pad that barely has any paper in it left, but I think I'm gonna just pick something from out of here. But before we do all of that, we're gonna go to the sewing machine and I'm just gonna stitch along the edges, just like a top stitch, and just along these edges. And then this is also the point where if you want to do some sort of quilting stitches or anything like that, this is where you would get that done at. Before we lay down the paper, if you wanted to do some sort of design stitch on the front, you could do that. If you want to applique something, whatever you want to do. For now, for the video's purpose, I'm just going to do a top stitch around the edge. If you have a machine that you use for regular fabric, you may want, if you have a second machine, have one that you use for paper, or you may want to have a needle that you use for paper and that you can switch out, or if you just don't care, do what you want. That's all up to you. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the top stitch and I'll be right back. Alright, so we're back and the stitches are in. I don't even know if y'all can see this because my thread is so light. And so now my fabric is not going anywhere. It's good. It can't go anywhere. Let's find the perfect fabric. Let's find the perfect fabric. But because there's so many colors in this fabric, I think that any kind of paper could work. And then maybe this one is good. Maybe the mismatch look is your thing. So you can put anything. Like there's no orange in here, but maybe you want a big bright piece of orange. Maybe your cover had a whole bunch of patchwork. Like this one already falling out, so maybe it might be the one. Do whatever is your thing. Ooh, this one is cute too. This is kind of cute. Any of these would work, really. I'm not gonna take too much time trying to figure out. I do like this fabric. I mean this paper. Why do I keep calling it fabric? Paper. Alright, since this piece already kind of like fell out, I think we'll use that. I'm considering using something a little more sturdy down the spine area. Okay, so I have this cardstock that I've had for I don't know how long. I think it comes from Joann's. Yeah, Joann's. What's the weight? 110 pound weight, I guess. Anyway, but it's thicker. Alright, I think I'm gonna use this in the center. So what I'm gonna do is measure my spine, which is about 1 3/4 inches. So what I'm gonna do is have this paper hang off 1 inch on each side about. So I'm gonna do 3. Actually, I'll just do 4 inches. Make it simple because there's nothing has to be a specific measurement. So I'm gonna do 4 inches across, and then I'm going to measure it up against my book to see how tall I need it, and then we're going to cut that. Okay, and it will go here. So one thing that I don't have that is helpful is a scoring board. If you have a scoring board, the best thing to do would be to score this paper so that when you fold, it folds easily. So what I am going to do is just do that without a scoring board. I'm gonna mark. Okay, so what I did was I marked the paper so that I can see where my spine is, and I'm going to fold. Just a makeshift scoring because I do not have a scoring board, which is on my list of things to get, but I want to look for it at the craft thrift because I'm not about spending a lot of money. And then I also don't have a bone folder. So this is like the little thing you use if you have a Cricut. They sell these at the dollar store too, at the Dollar Tree. This one is not from the Dollar Tree, but I do have one that comes from the Dollar Tree. Alright. Okay. So now you have your score line. And I'm going to go ahead and glue Alright, let's see. I'm gonna get this in there, make sure it's in a way where this can, yeah. So I'm doing down the center first. Sorry about the garbage noises, but they're just doing their job. Alright, and then I'll put glue down the other side. And I will have another piece of paper that's covering up the sides. That'll be the pink paper that we pulled out. This is just, I wanted a thicker paper on the spine. Kind of pushing down so that it doesn't glue while the book is straight, because if it glues down while the book is straight, while the cover is straight, then it'll be harder for it to bend. Alright, and then now I'm gonna do this side. And if you've been here long enough, you know that I do not aim for perfection. So that's just me, and that's because for me, while doing any type of creative thing, if I had to be perfect, it would really make it less fun for me. So I had to give myself the okay to be less than perfect, because usually I want things to be just the way I want them to be. But when it comes to crafting and arting and doing all the things, that makes it not as fun if I'm stressing about how perfect things are. I still want them to look nice, don't get me wrong, but I can't stress about if everything is lined up perfectly. Like, I have a little piece of my paper coming off the edge, so I'm just gonna get the scissors and cut that off. And I can't even find scissors, so I'm gonna use my snips. Just hope I don't cut the thread. I mean the fabric. Alright, there you go. Cut it off. It's just fine. Remember, this is the spine. Papers will be all right here, so you won't see this section. Alright, so while that is doing this thing, I'm going to pull out this paper and see how big I want it. I want to still see some of the fabric on the edge, I think. Alright, so I marked, I think 4 inches. Where is my mark? I lost my mark. Oh, I marked 4 inches, and we're going to see how that goes. Then, and remember, my journal is 5 by 7, so I did an inch less at 4, and then I marked off at about 6.5 this way. So that's gonna give me, should I just do 6? No, should I do the whole side? I think I'll do 7 inches. I think I'll just do 7. Alright, I know I do want to round the corners. So I have this corner round punch that I got on Amazon. This is the one that I had for years. It only does one side, but it was starting to get kind of sticky to use. But I found this one on Amazon that gives 3 different sizes of corners. So I know I didn't pay not even $10 for this. So I was pretty happy with that price. I'll link that down below. And I like that I can do more than one size. Oops. The thing about corner punches is if you mess up your punch, you do this to your paper. I hate that. I don't know if y'all can even see that, but it janks up the corner. And at first I thought it was my corner punch, but it's really all corner punches is what I realized. Because this is the 3rd corner punch that I've owned. Alright. So I rounded the corners, and I think I'm going to put it here. Now I'm wondering, should I have cut some off the top though? Would I have liked this? No. I think this is better. Okay. And as you can see on this one, I didn't do 2 different fabrics. I just did one down the center. So you can really do it however you want. Let me cut another one and then we will glue. Alright, being that this is a bigger area to glue, I just went in with the regular bottle rather than the precision tip. And I found that this glue works well with gluing paper to fabric as well. So I'm trying to get up to the edges so I don't have a problem with it lifting up. And then of course I could use my precision tip to get in the edges if I need to. Alright, I did not think through how far I wanted this. So we're going to eyeball it as I do. Alright. Alright. Okay, so let's get the other one on there too. Alright. And at this stage, your cover, your basic cover is done. Now granted, this is just basic. If you want it, the glue is, ooh, I put too much glue on the edge. If you want it in more embellishments, then you can do that. You can have tassels on the sides, buttons on the sides, whatever you want. But also know that we have to sew in our signatures. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So the outside will have your thread from your signatures. Now you can put some buttons or charms on those signature bands, threads. Anyway, I'm gonna let this dry and I'll come back and I'll show you how to get your signatures into the journal. Alright y'all, I have to be honest with y'all on this one. I made a mistake. So remember when I told y'all I made the mistake with the ribbon on this one? It should have went under the paper. How did I tell y'all about the mistake and then I did it all over again? We were supposed to put the ribbon down before we glued the paper. And I'm kind of upset because I wanted to do it that way this time for real. So I'm thinking about taking it apart and redoing it, or I could just lay another piece of paper. I could just do another piece of paper, huh? And then I was trying to decide if I wanted this ribbon. Remember this, if y'all watch my channel regularly, this is the fig tree ribbon that came in one of the boxes. So I was thinking about using this one or going with a satin ribbon that is purple. I really like the sheer ribbon, but I don't have any more of the sheer. I have a lot of satin ribbon, but no sheer. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. But just to let you guys know, when before you put down the paper on the spine, all this paper, before you put all this paper down, you want to glue your ribbon across, leave enough room so that when it's closed you can tie it off. You want to glue it across and then put your papers on top and glue your papers down. That way your ribbon is all behind the papers. So there's a chance I'm going to fix it by putting another paper on top, but I have time to think about that because we're gonna move to working in this one for me to show y'all how to add your signatures in, and I'll tell y'all how I got my papers prepped for it, and then I'll show y'all how to get it sewn in. This one I'll fix it. I'll either fix it or I won't, but I haven't picked out the papers for this one yet, so I have time to figure out what I'm gonna do with this one. So we're now moving into my gardening journal, which is awesome because I just went and planted some seeds. So I have some things to write about in here. But the way you want to prep your papers. So it all depends on you and your personal style. That's what's great about creating anything. you're able to create what you like and what you want. So for me, I wanted for my gardening journal, I wanted papers that were more in the green tones and floral and things that just reminded me of being outside. So I went through a bunch of paper stash. Now, places you can get paper. You can buy paper pads. This one I got from the craft thrift for 75 cents because there wasn't a whole lot of paper in there. But you can go over to Michael's, Joann's, Walmart, and buy paper pads. Walmart probably has the cheapest without having to use a coupon or a sale. But Joann's always has coupons. Michael's always has coupons. They both always have sales. And they have beautiful papers. The selection is way better than Walmart's selection. But Walmart is the cheapest just off the bat without a coupon. But I can use a coupon. So I'll show you some of the papers so you can see how I did it. Now this one came out of a paper pack from Joann's. So what I did was, and I'll show you, this was a 12 by 12. You have to take your journal and measure how big, how wide it is and how tall it is so you know how to cut your paper. And then you have to decide if you want to make sure none of your papers poke out of the side or the top. Then you want to make sure that that when you measure, you leave a little bit of room. So you would want to cut your paper to where maybe like 1/4 of an inch smaller or 1/8 of an inch smaller. That way it doesn't poke out the sides. So this was a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. All I did was I took it, I folded it in half. I used some of those scissors that make the funny cuts. I use it along this just for design. This is not necessary. I folded it in half so that I can have 2 pockets. So you can do that too. I folded it in half this way and then half that way. I trimmed it to size. And then I used my corner rounder and rounded the corners. Now, it's open, so you would want to glue your pocket down. Glue this way, glue that way, or use double-sided tape, or take it to your sewing machine and sew it down. I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and sew it down. I just haven't done it yet. And then this same thing with this one. You can play around with the sizes. This one I made the pocket shorter. The whole paper is smaller. Your papers do not have to be the same size. They can be. They truly can be. But they don't have to be. You can take regular printer paper. If you're not into all of this cutesy dootsy stuff and you just want regular paper, you can take regular printer paper, fold it in half, cut it to size, and that can be your paper. It can be all white paper. This is your journal, whatever makes you happy. Mine is going to be more of an art style journal. I want to say junk journal, but I'm not really a junk journal-y person because usually junk journals are like maximal, like all the things. And it's hard for my brain to do all the things. Like this is very basic for a cover in the junk journal world. Because embellishing is what, you know, the junk journalers do. Which I do want to do some embellishing, but I would have to say that I'm not there yet. I'm not comfortable with making cute embellishments. So mine, the papers are going to be cute. I'm going to work on it, add and add and add, and eventually it probably will turn into embellishments and junky and all that. But it doesn't have to be. You can use white paper. Now, I go to the craft thrift and I buy grab bags of random paper. So, like this is kind of looks like an old piece of paper. I use that. All this came out of the craft thrift's grab bag of paper. This was apparently Rio Grande Counseling Center. is where this paper came from. So it's just random papers that I got in this grab bag. This looks like printer paper. I don't really know. Another cute thing to do is doilies. You can fold doilies and put them in there and then just use it as decoration. These I got from the, where did I get these? From the Dollar Tree. $1.25, and it's a pack of a whole bunch in a whole bunch of different sizes. So you don't have to fold it directly in half. You can fold it to where one side is shorter than the other. All kinds of things that you can do. This was a paper pack. So I did a lot of these little pockets because I want to be able to stuff things in there like seed packets and things. This one was more of just a decorative paper instead of, these are more cardstocky. These are paper. So you can have different textures and shapes and colors, whatever. Now, you can also make designed paper. I know this is a lot of info, but I'm just showing y'all examples. And then maybe later in a different video, I can show y'all more in detail. But this was just a white piece, a cream piece of paper that was in one of the grab bags from the craft thrift. So I had green ink and this floral stamp, and I just stamped all over, all on top, no specific rhyme or reason, and made this design on the paper. And I thought it was cute. So I had this piece of paper and it's kind of crunchy dunchy, and I decided I was just gonna watercolor some mushrooms on it. Just nothing special, freeform. I did not want it to be too saturated in color. I did not want it to be because generally I would have taken a fine liner and like went and drew around it. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to leave it open to whenever I get to this page, I can decorate it. I can add to it, draw on it if I want. But I did this in watercolor, fold it in half, and I love the way watercolor makes your paper feel. Same thing with like tea dyeing paper. You can take regular white paper and tea dye it if you want to do it that way. This is, I think, a blank card. So you could do that too. Blank cards, envelopes, whatever you want. This wasn't even a full sheet of paper. It was in the grab bag. Somebody drew something on it and cut a piece off. I fold it in half and it's going in. And I'll just put a sticker down or some type of embellishment on top of this, or erase it because it's in pencil. Whatever. Paper. These are just papers. This was a paper that I was just testing watercolor on just to see how it would react to the paper, because it was a weird feeling paper. And then when I was done and it dried off, I just cut it to size and decided to put it in the journal. No rhyme or reason. Alright, y'all, so I know that we're not done making the signatures for the journal and I left y'all hanging. But what I realized is that this video will be entirely too long if we do the signatures as well. So what I am going to do is give y'all the time to go ahead, make your journal covers. I'll give y'all the time to make your journal covers, and then on the next video, we will go ahead and get the signatures put in. So this will, the signatures being put in the journal will be a completely separate video, and I think that is going to help us with the length of the videos. So y'all stay tuned for the next video so that we can get the signatures sewn in, and I am really enjoying this. I hope you guys are liking this kind of video. Y'all let me know in the comments below, have y'all made journals? Are y'all going to try this style of making a journal? Let me know, and then we could talk about it in the Facebook group as well. And if you do choose to make these, head over to the Facebook group so that you can share with us the pictures. I can't wait to see pictures of you guys making journals. And that's it, you guys. If you have not liked the video already, y'all go ahead, like the video. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.